I'm Glenn Johnson, Franklin Fire Chief. Here on Franklin Fire, we're going to be looking at Old Station 1. Many of us have great memories here, as this was the first station we were assigned to. This building's been many things through the years, but more importantly, this was our second home. This location, 604 West Main Street, was the second site of Franklin Fire Station number 1. The first was on 234 Public Square, built in 1819. Ironically, it was destroyed by fire in 1891 and rebuilt in the same location. It remained in service until 1958, when it moved here and remained for 40 years. Before being purchased by the city, 604 West Main Street was a private residence and then a funeral home. Well, we're back at the old fire station. We got a lot of great memories here, so we've been fortunate that the owners of this building is now going to let us go through and kind of see how it's changed over the course of the years from when we were here as firefighters and to present day. This area definitely has changed. There used to be, what, a chair and a table with an old push-button phone there.
Yeah. No office right there. Chief's office. Yeah.
That's where all the major decisions were made, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
And I don't remember who it was, but I remember every time the chief officers would come down here to have their private meeting in this office, all the firefighters would run downstairs into the basement because you could hear every old decision, and they would get mad because they would already know.
Yeah.
Y'all would know before anybody got out.
Yes. And over here, I see this has kind of been closed off a little bit. But this used to run all the way through right here. Big open room. I think it was a bedroom somewhere right along in here. All the lieutenants used to sleep in the bedroom somewhere up in here. And yeah, it was a room right here. Then over this way, just behind this wall, this was the day room.
Right.
We're up the stairs here. Of course, we used to go up there and shoot pool.
And that's
Up
where
the stairs, yeah.
most of the bedrooms were upstairs.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of bedrooms was up there. And then this room here, of course, we had this room here. You remember I named that after Mike Jones.
Mike Jones came up with a name, his nickname, because of this one area right here. And then the door going back this way, that was what we used to call the vault. That's where me and Hunter and Todd Horton would sleep. Todd would sleep in a pair of coveralls because we would keep it so cold. And I know on B shift, Eddie slept in there.
And then in this room right here, on B shift, Mike Jones and Bob Morrell slept in this room here. It was a little small room. It had two beds. It had a bed on this wall, and a bed on the other wall over here, on the opposite wall. And then you had a walkthrough.
Right.
Which went down into the bank.
And then this was the day room.
This was the day room. Yep.
Of course, it was a little bit bigger back then.
Yeah. See, it ran all the way through.
Right.
It ran all the way. This wall wasn't here. But now, the old story was right here. Is this where, when this was a funeral home, that's where they used to place the body in the casket, in those two doors, and open those doors up. So that was the story. Eddie House, the couch sit right along this wall right here. The Eddie House used to lay on all the time. The old vent's still there.
Yep.
My first day here, I walked in the front door, I came in here, and it was like this. And I was feeling my way around, and I hear somebody snoring, and I turned on the light, and sure enough, Eddie House is on the couch sleeping. You know, what are you doing? I said, I'm sorry, I didn't know you were there.
Well,
And then within the next day, I was sleeping on the couch next to him. 'Cause
Right here
he
where
taught
this-
me how to sleep on a couch. There's no doubt about it.
Right here where this old kitchen was, is where you used to walk out of this room right straight through, and there was a bathroom right here somewhere.
The bathroom's still here.
Okay, bathroom, this is the old bathroom. And we had old shower right there.
Right. And then we had a window that would look
Yeah.
out over the bay.
Sure did.
And there was a couple of people that used to lean out that window and talk to everybody in the bay.
Yeah, it gets sprayed.
And then there was a door that led upstairs to
Yeah.
the second floor.
That's where I slept.
Yeah, that's where I was sleeping upstairs.
That's where I spend most of my time, yeah. It just-
That door was right here.
Yeah.
Yep.
Here's the old apparatus bay.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Golly. It has changed.
It's
The
changed.
old lockers are still over there.
Sure is. Wow.
Oh yeah. The beloved pole. Been many a people firemen slide down that pole.
Those steps are new.
That pole wasn't that slick either.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, it was a pretty rough pole to come down.
Who was it that did? Was that Todd that? No, Todd missed the pole.
A lot of people missed it.
Yeah.
Twist ankles.
The original doors, the springs across the doors and all that. Yeah. This is where we used to come downstairs into the bay. Over here in this corner, had a door right there. Then we went down into the basement.
It was
Somewhere.
over here though.
Yeah, it was right beside that door. Yeah.
So over here you would go either up front or down into the basement.
Right.
And
right.
they put steps over here to go upstairs.
Uh-huh. That's what they did. Remember the walls?
Remember that one?
All the wires and things that used to be on the wall?
We never had one of those. Yeah. Agreed.
This was the old training room.
Yeah.
So this was a combination of a training room, and then over here in this corner was the radio room. And so you had this little cutout over here, but this was set up where we would do all of our training. This is the bedroom that Robert Fitzgerald slept in for years. This is where he got locked out by a dog on a cold winter's night, and we had to climb through that window
But you gotta remember our whole shift.
to unlock it for him.
10
It
people.
was a restroom right there.
It's still there.
And this is the
So
kitchen.
when we're saying this was the training room, you gotta remember at the time, our entire shift was only 10 people.
Right.
At
Two stations.
Yeah.
And then
This-
this was the this was the kitchen.
kitchen.
Yeah, that
All
was
this
all
was the
kitchen.
kitchen.
Table. All one room.
Yep.
Had one refrigerator.
These old windows we used to look out of.
Hunter threw Todd's pizza out in the yard. and
Yeah,
got the
man.
lawnmower
They've really
and
changed it
and ran it over.
Yeah.
quite a bit.
Yeah, that was a Tombstone pizza. He
Yeah.
slung it out that window, went and got the lawnmower, and then ran over it. Wow. So this was the old snorkel bay where 1316 used to live. Looks a little different. There's been many a basketball game
Yeah.
played here. And, yeah, Roy Brown.
Yeah.
Basketball goals hung over there.
Yeah, sure was.
You know what
And I believe this is where that term "doggone Roy"
Yeah.
came from. That was Steve Wells
Yeah.
in a police and fire basketball game, and
Of course, this was not here.
yeah,
Yeah, this is a very tall bay. It's snorkel right here. And then on this wall, seemed like they had that old Cascade system was on.
Yeah.
over
that's
the front or
right.
something.
It was.
And they had a door going outside back over here. Just a small door to go out on the side of the building.
Let's go up and look at the old bedrooms where we all stayed when we first started out. There's a lot of good stories that came out of that.
Well,
Yeah, that's where all the ghost stories came from.
there's a bedroom right here, and there was a bedroom right here. Then Joe Hill and all them slept here, and there was about 3 beds right in here.
Yep. Did you see a ghost in there?
Wasn't there a
Somewhere
firefighter
in
that saw
here.
a ghost there one time? What was the story behind that?
It's not a test.
Oh.
Wasn't the story behind it? It's just,
No, there was a story behind it.
Yeah, there was a story.
all right, Joe, tell the story.
No, you do it better.
No, I know, dude.
No,
You had first-hand experience.
No.
There was only one way in, one way out.
Okay, now tell the story.
So there was.
And I'll correct you if it.
He will correct me because he always says it's wrong, but I was sleeping right there and I was awake when it happened because I heard a girl scream at the top of her lungs. I'm not sure who that girl was, but anyway, so Mike Burns decided he was going to play a joke on that firefighter.
Now, who's Mike Burns?
He used to work here. He was going to play a joke on Mr. Baltimore here, and Greg would go to sleep, lights out, completely dark in there. Mike found a face mask. Was it an old man or something?
It was an old face mask.
And he put a black cape over the top of him, and he draped it, and he went in there at about 11:30 at night, and he stuck a flashlight underneath his shirt and shined the light up on here and just stood there and waited and waited and waited. And then you need to tell us the rest of the story.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Is that when
Did you
heard
hear
the
that young lady scream?
screaming?
I heard someone scream at the top of their lungs. I thought it was a girl screaming. It was that loud. And then it finally hit me. I knew what Burns was going to do, and he came running out to the bed, and he hopped on the bed with me and was laughing so hard he was crying, and he was still in there screaming. "Ah!"
That's another joke.
But I think the
Joke.
funniest part of that whole story is you went and woke L.E. up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
Did you go tell him?
Yeah, I went down. I thought they was playing just a little bit too much, and I went right down those stairs, went up front where they used to sleep. The lieutenant slept, and I woke him up that time of night. He was upset about it.
L.E. didn't play that, did he?
He did not
What did
play
he
it.
tell y'all next year?
Oh yeah. Everyone got up. I woke everybody up in the station. So L.E. was upset. Very next shift, he held a meeting immediately. Told us we were playing just a little bit too much.
So, but now we did have a firefighter that was in that same room, and he was woken up one night. He swore that somebody was laying on top of him for about 30 minutes. Chapman,
Yeah.
Robert.
Robert
You got to
Chapman.
keep in mind, this old building, like I said, it was an old funeral home, and there was a lot of spooky things. It's like the nights that Joe and maybe Todd or whomever slept up here with me wasn't here. It was creepy, especially in the dark. And the rumors was this was the casket room. So I mean, this is you just never know what could happen. So it was scary to sleep in this building, especially on this side by myself, and everyone else was sleeping in the vault. It was scary.
One of my favorite scary stories up here is when Robert Fitzgerald slept in that room here. Hunter Crady and I got some fishing line one night and strung it all the way across the ceiling, and we had a bed right over here. Well, Robert had a hat rack in his room, and that's what we had the fishing line tied to. So I'd pull that line back and just let it go, and it hit the wall. And I could see Robert from where my bed was, and he'd look, and then I'd let a few more minutes go by, and I'd pull it back, I'd let it hit, boom. And then old Robert, he'd look. Well, we forgot about one person. Jose had traveled in from Station 2. And so we've got, everybody up here scared. Well, all of a sudden, Jose, he's real quiet, we didn't even know he was in on the joke. He starts running in front of this window, back and forth. He got out on the roof. And Gerald was watching it. And so then Slitty finally figured out that what we were doing was, we was messing with him. So, Robert Fitzgerald let out this wild, like a bobcat scream. Gerald jumps up and goes, okay, quit playing, it's scaring me, because he could see Jose running back and forth across it, and we'd all forgot about Jose. So then, we all got that night, except for Jose.
Oh man, we had some good times here. I ain't kidding, man.
Now I remember you asking about it being a brass pole. I brought
No,
my
it's-
photos. Everything
Yeah,
I ever
it's
knew,
steel.
it's always been.
Yeah, it's
black
always
iron.
been steel.
Yeah.
We had a wooden cover on here.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd have
Pull the
to
cover off.
kick it back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in the winter, when you pulled the cover back and you pulled out, if you didn't shut the bay doors,
Fumes.
it would be freezing up here when
In
you
the
got
fumes
back.
too.
Yeah.
Awful.
We pulled out on many structure fires just running out of here, and those engines were loud.
But in
Those
my,
American with friends.
my 35 years, some of my best times were at this station.
Exactly.
Up here. because-
No doubt, no
Exactly.
doubt, no doubt.
Talking
Just
about those structure fires, that's what I was going to tell you. remembering right, how many of it was here the night of the Magnolia House? I was telling
Magnolia
her.
House it was me, you, Hunter, and Gerald.
That's the one you got burned on, right?
Yeah, there was 4 of us here.
And we got, what, 6 people out with 4 of us?
Right.
And 1 was at the pump. And we
Correct.
got 6 people out of that fire.
And there was
Due to that sheriff's deputy waking them up, we were
No, it
able
was
to
a
get-
police officer.
Was it a police
It was
officer?
a city police officer. That's the one we pulled off the roof, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
they come out on the roof and we were able
Yeah.
to get them out.
Yeah.
4 and got, what, 6 and then the cop. So
Right.
it's 7 total out of the fire.
Magnolia House. There was 5 of us here. I think it was me, you, Hunter, Gerald. It seemed like there might have been one more. No, I guess it was just 4 of us.
Yeah, 'cause
it was
we were
2 on the
like-
engine and 2 on the snorkel. Yeah.
And,
And 6 or 8 people reported trapped.
yeah, and
Yeah.
you got burnt going up with the metal stairwell? the
The
emergency
outside
access?
stairwell on the north side.
Remember that fire? And we came in the next morning on it, mop up and everything. But yeah, I can remember that fire. But a lot of the things that I always will keep in my head is when we rolled out in the middle of the night on a structure fire. I can always remember Eddie House. That Joker would always, when he get his gear on, we was getting ready to get on the apparatus, he'd always light a cigarette, stick it in his mouth, and he'd roll out. He'd be smoking that cigarette the whole time. You look across the doghouse at him, he'd have that cigarette just thinking about what he getting ready to do. He was smoking that cigarette, man, and some of the most memorable times, going to the snorkel bay, or whether you're going down here, or you're gonna be on 14 or 13. Steve Well drove 13. Mike Jones was on 14. We used to call them jokers the layout king, because they was gonna lay out when they got on the scene. They knew exactly one knew exactly what the other ones was gonna do. One thing about Eddie House was, that Joker, he saw fire, he'd leave you. He didn't care. He didn't care, son. He was going to the fire. He was gonna fight fire. Joe, you remember all the days, the memories of just us getting dressed and getting out of the bay, how fast we got out and how much we loved each other. How close we all were. Station 1 and Station 2, the only 2 stations we had. All of us were like a big family, and it was just a tremendous thing at that time.
And if it was a reported structure fire and you were late to the truck, you were left. You'd have to get in your
Oh,
own
yeah.
car, and you would have to follow the fire engine, because you'd get left.
You can remember the days you could go to the store.
Take a radio.
You can take a
Take a
radio
radio.
to the store. Go down to HG Hills, wherever you're gonna go.
Put your gear on the truck. Yep. So it'll meet you at the car.
Meet you at the call. Yep, that's the way we used to do it.
Used to hear all the calls, all the radio traffic in the middle of the night, no matter what it was. You'd have to learn how to go back to sleep.
Yeah, it wasn't but 2 stations.
Yeah.
I remember when Joe Hill, when we first got that rescue truck, you always see Joe sitting in there. Eddie would always drive. Joe be sitting in there, son, be scared to death, son. He be just holding on in there.
We be on 2 wheels, I'm telling you. Eddie knows the city like anybody else, and he knows everybody here too. So he'd be driving down, going to a call with that cigarette in his mouth, waving to people with one hand and driving with his knee and on the air horn, and the truck's going this way and that way, and I'm going,
Ready to make it.
yeah.
Well, we had some good times, man.
We did several years with just that one truck, with us being the first ones on it, and we just ran the whole city, didn't we?
Yeah, they were only rescue trucks.
Citywide.
Citywide.
I really hated to see it come to an end when we moved out of here. I moved over on Highway 96 West, because it was just so much fun. We knew the fun was over once we got moved out of here, because there was so much more for us to do here when we were here. We used to go out on that front, that wall out there, the rock. They wouldn't let us sit on the rock.
Back then, they discouraged us from being seen in public.
Yeah. They didn't want us out.
There was never another station like this one.
Yeah.
Never will be.
A lot of memories, a lot of changes. Been a lot of love shared here. A lot of jokes, complaints, whatever. But we made do, and we had a good time. We really did. We enjoyed it. Fire service has changed so much now. It's not what it was back then. We made a
And the thing is, when we bring in these new young kids now, they don't understand how fast time goes. How fast almost 29 years has gone for me here at this fire department. It's flown by. By you, Chief.
It just seems like we started yesterday.
It does.
Yeah, it does.
Going
Up here
to-
talking about it, it's like you're bringing all these memories back.
Going
It
to
was
the-
like that.
Going to Decatur, Alabama
Get our gear.
to get a gear at NAFCO.
Yeah, I remember that.
Stopping at the buffet, all you can eat buffet.
That was for James Marlin. They used to take us down there, get our gear down to Alabama. Man, we all came in, we all had hair. And if you look now, it's over.
Yeah, mine's turning gray and turning loose.
Yeah, we all had hair back then. We cherished it.
Great ride. Hope you enjoyed our walk down memory lane today here at Old Station 1. Now Lieutenant Seth Frost is going to share some holiday cheer with us.
Hello everybody, I am Lieutenant Frost and I'm currently here at Station 1. First I want to thank Chief. Chief, thanks for having us on today and thank you for showing us Old Station 1. The new current Station 1 has been around since 1998, so we moved here right after the first Station 1 closed. We're the second busiest station in Franklin, behind Station 2, averaging 2,100 calls per year. We currently have 2 apparatus here, Tower 1 and Engine 1. And some of the stations are designed for special operations. So Station 1 is one of our special operations stations, and we have Swiftwater. This time of year during the holidays, unfortunately, we are most likely to respond to home fires. Last year, we have had a residential fire on Thanksgiving, and the previous year, we had a house fire on Christmas and New Year's Eve. So it's important to be vigilant. During the holidays, we're also busy with community events, like the Christmas tree lighting, the Christmas parade, and the Dickens of a Christmas festival on Main Street. The fire department has been around for over 200 years. And in that 200 years, we've seen a lot of growth and a lot of change here in the city of Franklin. And we've recognized some of the needs that have been developed here in the city of Franklin. Because of that, several firefighters started the Franklin Firefighters Toy and Clothing Drive in 2008. This year, One Gen Away was getting low on supplies. So we're also doing a food drive through January 2nd. As you can see, we haven't received many donations. So please stop by any fire station with your non-perishable food items. All right, that concludes this episode of Franklin Fire. We'd like to say thank you for watching and participating. Hope you have a safe and happy holidays. We'll see you out there.